getting ourselves into that mentality, getting into that vibe, utilizing what we have inside, utilizing our focus, our knowledge, our discipline, overcoming our challenges, putting ourselves inside of our mentality, inside of our ability, utilizing what we have inside. And so, what kind of challenges are you facing off against today? Connect with the networks: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, and podcasts. And so, what does it take to get within ourselves? What does it take for us to sit down at a point where we're willing to grind no matter the results? When what we're facing off against and the challenges that we're facing off against don't have the ability to stop us. And so, sitting here in this kind of mentality, sitting here in this kind of place, utilizing what is going on inside of ourselves is what it's really about, folks. It's about, believing in you. It's about believing in your ability and not allowing, how others people think or act to affect your mentality. And so, when we're sitting down inside of ourselves, when we're going through challenges, when we're struggling inside of who we are, the one who pulls us up is the person that's inside. It's the one that tells us, hey, you need to spend time by yourself. You got to spend time focusing on the goals and the dreams that you want to achieve. And so, are we achieving those dreams? Are we getting inwards to that point? Are we utilizing our gifts? Are we utilizing our challenges in that way? And so, one of those things that I've learned how to do is to start to write things down and to put it in front of myself and to listen to positivity and start putting positive vibes outwards, actual positive vibrations. And so, when you're facing off against things, sometimes you're just a moment away from being on the other side. Sometimes you're a moment away from overcoming things within yourself. And I recognize this. I recognize that what it takes inside is to believe in you. What it takes inside is to face off against your challenges. And, they're not somebody else's to own. They're not somebody else's to carry. They're your own challenges. They're truly there in front of you to ask you if you have what it takes, if what you're able to go through, you can. And, I focus to that point, I realize that, you got to allow the things to move out of the way that aren't meant for you. And, it's one of the most difficult things that we do. It's when we're able to believe in ourselves, we're able to believe in our ability, and we're able to pick ourselves up and to know that it's possible. And are we doing that? Are we truly sitting inside of ourselves with that kind of a strength? Are we sitting inside of ourselves with that kind of a mentality? Do we sit inside of ourselves and start to see that we're worth it? And so, are we doing that? Are we, on that kind of a page where we're sitting and asking those kinds of questions where, sometimes we might be, some days we might not be, are we getting back up, And so, inside of yourself, inside of your ability, you got to believe in you. You got to believe that you're worth it, that the things that you do, the challenges that you face off against, they're worth it. And, how do you start to find that kind of foundation? How do you start to find that kind of focus? How do you start to believe in yourself to the point where you have the ability to overcome your own challenges? And so, when we're inside of who we are, it's not easy, my friends. It takes patience. It takes observation. It takes the ability for you to be you and for you to face off against those types of things. And so I want to look at what brings a person towards positivity, what brings a person towards the ability of believing in themselves. What does it take for you to sit down inside even when you might be struggling? Like sometimes it's, like a lot of times we want to help out other people. What about when you're going through something? What about the things that you face off against individually? And so, how do we visit a mentality to lift ourselves up then? How about when it's not about somebody else, but you're facing off against things inside of yourselves? So, how do we lift ourselves up when that is going on? Yeah, how do we start to see those kinds of places? How do we start to believe in ourselves? How do we start to focus to a point where we start to achieve our dreams and our goals? And so, what are your dreams? What are your goals? What are the things that you want to do? And I'm looking at that daily. I'm looking within to find that best friend on a daily basis. And it's amazing that challenges, they don't hold you back. Okay, challenges are not meant to hold you back. They're meant to help you to grow. And I look inside at the place and the person that I am and the things that I've been through, you know, and recognize that that's what separates, the people who really want to make it, is that they're willing to face off against their own challenges. They're willing to sit down to the point where they focus, where they utilize what they have inside, where they're willing to get back up. And I really do truly enjoy to help people out. I really enjoy to be part of a community and to be there for you guys to uplift you. And it's not just you guys sometimes, it's not just you that goes through challenges, but how do we work through them? How do we put ourselves in a place where the challenges don't have the ability to stop us? How we can get to the place inside of ourselves where our mentality opens up and our ability inside of who we are. And so, what does it take for you to do that? What does it really take for you to be who you are inside? And it's on a daily that we're seeking, you know, our place in the universe, our ability for us to face off against those kinds of challenges. And it takes work, my friends. It takes putting yourself in a place where you give yourself the time, where you give yourself the energy, where you give yourself the ability to grow. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. They're not willing to sit down and to have those moments that are shaky, that sometimes they need to be stabilized. And each of us seeks that. And it's a reminder to the reason why I do meditation on a daily basis. And it's a reminder to have peace inside. It comes from within you. And that might be the one thing that separates me from other people, is that when I go inwards, when I spend time on myself, sometimes I don't express myself to other people. And if I do, it's because I'm caring. It's because I'm wanting other people to see that they're worth it, that they have the ability inside of themselves. But what about our own challenges, my friends? What about the days when you don't want to get up? What about the days where you want to sleep in, you just want to bury your head? What about those days too? And so, it's a reminder that when we're having challenges, that they do pass. That if you're able to weather the storm, that you'll make it to the other side. And so, sometimes I face off against those storms too. We no human being doesn't have storms, but it's to remember that on the other side of the storms, there's sunny skies. And so, are we truly seeing that part inside of ourselves that is special, that can make it through those kind of storms that can ultimately be who you are. And that's the thing that shaped me is that there that part inside that you know makes me who I am, makes me the caring person that I am, faces off against storms sometimes too. And it's not that it's not normal, it's that sometimes we have to recognize that difficulty brings you towards positivity. Difficulty brings you in a direction that you can sit down with yourself, that you can be who you are on the inside, that you can utilize what you have. And I see that, and it's not always easy, and I understand that we can do it, that we can achieve ourselves, so we can achieve our abilities inside of our mentalities, inside of our vibrations. And I enjoy the conversations that have with the people here, and the ability to work through challenges, and to put one's mentality in a place of vibration, and to help to uplift you all. It reminds me, it gives me a drive daily. I ask this question every day: is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And so, how do we uplift ourselves to that place where we start to focus? How do we uplift ourselves to that place where we utilize what we have inside? And I'm waking up today asking that question. I'm waking up today asking myself, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? You know, what am I focused into, my friends? What is it that I focus on, that I utilize, that nobody else can? And it's that mentality to not allow emotions to stop me, not allow challenges to hold me back. And it's it's inside of ourselves that we have we have that place that nobody else can. And it's when you vibrate with that kind of place, it's when you are facing off against things, and you see the other side. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I focus into positivity. And and I want to share that reason with you guys to continue to struggle. You know, to continue to believe in yourselves, to continue to go to that place inside of who you are, where you allow yourself to be uplifted. You see, I don't always have easy days, okay? But when I'm going through challenges, it's a reminder every day when I wake up that the things that make me and drive me is that I ask myself that question every day. Is what I'm about to do today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? And as I get in front of the camera, and my brother, he went to go, deliver hay, and I'm sitting here and I'm punching the button. I'm getting on there, I'm getting out there, I'm grinding, and I could see people's success happening around me. I really do enjoy the comments that people leave, the support that people leave in the different platforms and the things that they watch. And it's it's amazing to see the support that other people have. And you know and in storms, we seek out shelter. Yeah, we seek out the part inside of who we are, where we overcome our challenges, okay? And certain parts of our being and our vibrations become open, all right? And it's not that it's not a beautiful thing, because it is a beautiful thing that we open ourselves to other people. But we also need to remember to understand ourselves, to understand that who we are inside matters. That, when you are who you are, that there's a blessing behind that. That it it opens up a mentality to focus, okay, and to overcome those kinds of challenges. And I'm not saying that I'm not facing off against challenges. I'm saying that when I face off against challenges, the way that I overcome those challenges is by remembering that we're a student in life. That when we remember this, when we remember that the student who enters the classroom has to study, okay, life becomes a study. It becomes a journey. It becomes a part of your path and your journey. And it's only going to happen when you become that whole person inside of who you are, that it starts to become worth it. And I'm seeing that happening on a daily basis. I'm seeing that growth, and I'm really grateful for the patience that the universe has had with me to grow. And I look back at the times that I could have been broken down on the side of the car, left for dead. I could have been in a place where I had so much pain in my heart that it was destroying me. Okay, I had shut down those kind of emotions. I had shut out that part inside of myself, and I had locked my own door. I had locked my own key to my own heart out. And so it's a recognized when people come along and they make you laugh, or they make you smile, or they bring you to a place where parts of yourself open back up. And so I guess I don't know, that might be what makes me unique, is that I can shut off my emotions. Okay? And to me, that's not okay, because when we focus to the point where we're able to destroy the emotion, then the challenges we're facing off against aren't truly dealt with. So how do we focus to that place where we can find positivity then? How do we focus to that place where what we are inside starts to open up? And so, you know, I recognize this. And one of the most amazing things about this year for me has been that it's a year of understanding. It's a year of self growth. It's a year of self reflection and self ability to understand that you're worth it. And I recognize that I am. You know, I recognize that sometimes we shake inside to be able to stand up in our own tunnels. That the chambers that are in our minds, the things that we go through on a daily basis, the things that we face off against that other people just won't, is what makes us who we are today. And so when you're focusing, when you're out there, when you're grinding, when you're having time to rest, when you're having time to work, when you're having time to put your mentality in place where your ability within yourself starts to open up, do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy the things that you go through? And you know, it's not every day going to be that it's bright and shiny. It's not every day that what you're facing off against becomes possible. And some nights you will go to sleep and it will not be easy. You will wake up wanting to fall back asleep. But do you get up? Do you punch that button? Do you continue to get to the place inside of who you are where you believe in you? And that is, I guess that might be the one thing that separates me from other people, is that it is, the person that I am inside motivation, meditation, inspiration dot yoga, to answer that question for the person on Periscope. If you type that in, it'll take you directly to my link. And um, it it's the reason why I get up every day. And I look at this thing, and I look at this grind that I'm on, and the things and the people that I've helped. And sometimes we've got to put a little bit of care into ourselves. Sometimes we've got to put a little bit of time into to sitting down and to giving ourselves just a minute to breathe. And it's a wake up when you're by yourself, that you got to love you first. You hearing what I'm saying? And you know I hope that all those people that are around me can see that it's not just about them. It's sometimes what we're going through inside, it is our own challenges. It's a lot of times we want to help out other people. We want to get into a place where others become uplifted. It's sometimes we got to uplift ourselves. Sometimes we got to have that day where we close our eyes, and we go through challenges that other people can't. And it's such a beautiful thing to know that we have people that are there to support us, and that love us, and that want to be with us and be a part of our journeys. But what about your journey, my friends? What does it take for you to focus to that level? And it's amazing. I remember being by myself in a van, and you know finding a day where I found self-love. uh, all right, I found that the best friend is communicating with yourself, is finding that focus within you, finding that determination to continue to clock in, to continue to go, to not allow the vibrations on the outside to have the ability to affect the person within you. And you know, I express that to the people that want to be close to me, is that it's when we focus to that point where we're willing to write stuff down that's not easy. We're willing to speak things out that is not easy. We're willing to find the mentality inside of ourselves, the ability inside of who we are. And you know, I mean, when you feel inside of yourself that you're worth it, is what I'm talking about. Okay? When you feel inside of yourself that your value, not the value from other people, that what you're going through is worth it. And I go through challenges too. Don't get me wrong. I really focus to that point where other people become uplifted, where other people find inside of themselves that worth it. And I face off against challenges too. And I have challenges in myself that you know left scars. That are beautiful. I mean, I embrace those challenges. And I see them as a place of growth. I see them as the ability to focus to that point, and to be the person that inside is worth it. You hearing what I'm saying? Are you that person inside of who you are, who you truly are? And it's inside of the mentality that it starts to open up. And a lot of times I'm getting on there and I'm reading other people's energy. I'm usually up on the top of the grind, and in the top of the place. Hello, blessings. Hello. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Blessings. How are you doing?
Fine.
Wow.
From where are you? No hack.
Um. Okay. Well, obviously the communication was not very clear, so I ended that one. But it 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 shows the reason why we are who we are when we face off against things, and it's not just uplifting other people. It's when you become uplifted too. You see, you know, a lot of people that are around me consider me an extremely positive person. But what about the days that I face off against challenges too? You know, and when other people see that reason why I'm hard on myself is because I believe in me. Okay, I believe in my abilities. I believe in the ability side, and I would like to motivate you to believe in yourself at that level. And I like to yet but let you see that it's when you become who you are on the inside that other people see your value. Okay, it's not when you're telling them what to do or not to do. It's when they realize that, wow, just by having this person around me, I'm uplifted. And so I sat in that car daily asking that question: is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? Not for somebody else. It was for myself. It was the thing that was keeping me alive in a time where I was facing off against challenges. You know, I look back at the different experiences that I've had, the things that I've gone through, and that have brought me to the place where I punch in this clock every day. I do these videos. I get out there. I uplift other people. And sometimes I face off against my own challenges. Sometimes I face off against my own mentality. See, it isn't just for you that I share this. It's for you that I share how I pulled myself out of it, how I brought myself up, how I got to that place where I started to see stable ground. And it's inside of ourselves that we start to seek that out. It's inside of ourselves that we are looking for a way out of that storm. And it's inside of ourselves that we pick ourselves up. And so I'm sitting here with this shake in my hand in a room by myself doing these videos that I do on a daily basis. Speaking my mind, speaking that foundation, that focus, that ability within, that mentality, that vibration. And I don't know, that might be the thing that separates me from other people. A lot of, like, I've realized that the most attractive trait on the face of the planet is focus. And, you know, I remember when I found myself, okay? When I was at the bottom and I picked myself up and I got to that place inside where I believed in who I am. And I do believe in who I am. I know my mentality. I know my ability. I know my self-worth. And if I could get you to see that you're worth it, that, if you have been stalled by challenges and things, that you can see through those challenges, that you could focus to that place where you have what it takes inside of who you are. And, it's not always easy. It's not always going to be easy. And it's inside of that focus that you find a way. Okay, it's inside of a foundation created by the Most High God that you are brought to this planet, that you have this life, that it's a blessing that you have your life. And I've seen a lot of people just throw their lives away because they don't want to embrace positivity. They don't want to embrace that even the challenges that we face off against are worth it. And, let alone become a student in their lives, let alone sit down inside and start to hear themselves and to spend time close to who they are and spend time close to their abilities inside of who they are. And, you know, a lot of people, they they feel that their emotions are too great for them, that they don't know how to hold them back, they don't know how to stop themselves, they don't know how to help themselves until they do, until they sit down and truly help themselves, until they say, hey, these things will cause me a cancer, these things, I already lost a friend once to cancer, you know, I already lost a friend once to cancer, and I, I'm not wanting to lose two, you know. And this time, I'm really in a place where I recognize that there's a great energy connection, and it's when we give ourselves that ability inside of who we are, and it's just not about somebody else, my friends. When you get inwards inside of you, it it takes that type of self-care and that type of self mentality. It takes that kind of ability and believing in who you are, and from once that key that I locked myself into, it opened up. It started laughing again, it started singing again, it started to want things that I thought I never wanted again. And so those people that see that should see that part inside of themselves and recognize that, you know, that they're the reason why I opened up again. You hearing what I'm saying? Because I locked that door. I closed that part of myself off, and I didn't want to over open it up again. And, you know, I face off against difficulties too. I face off against things that it is it. But the thing is that with to the right person, it's beautiful. Okay, to the right person, it's worth laughing again. It's worth singing again. You know, and when you find those kind of connections, when you find those kind of people worth it, you have to realize it. You know, and I don't know. I'm a human being just like you or anybody else who's out there that might be hearing this message and might be going through a hard time. That when you sit down and become that student, you will learn from your lessons inside. You will learn from your abilities inside of you. You will find ways to make it through those kinds of challenges. You will sit down to the place where you gain access to that kind of knowledge inside of yourselves where you believe in who you are. And I I look at that part, I look at that ability, and I look at that heat and that ability inside to purify ourselves, to purify our mentalities, to purify our knowledge inside. And I just say, wow, it's it's just not easy. I mean, I understand that, and it it's worth it. And I'm just me, you know. Whoever is gonna love me for me is gonna love me for the person that I am, and they're gonna wanna be next to me, and they're gonna wanna, you know, be a part of this vibration. And it's not always easy, okay? But when we get to that place inside of ourselves where we center within our beings, then we have the ability to overcome challenges. I mean, truly overcome challenges, overcome places of mentality, places that emotions and fears and pains lay. And, you know, I look at that part inside, and I look at that part of our being and that part of our purpose, and I see a light. I see knowledge at the end. I see knowing that it's worth it, that every day we're waking up is worth it, that getting on there and punching in is worth it, that it doesn't happen overnight. Okay, it takes you being yourselves, being who you are on the inside, being that beautiful person that we are. And you see, when we find somebody that has got that kind of a link, you know, it's when it's worth opening up. Okay, it's worth finding people that have that kind of ability, that that it isn't about what's going on around you, it's about what's going on inside you, but you got to become best friends with yourselves. You got to love you to that place where you overcome those things, and all of us work on that, is what I'm trying to say. All of us sit inside of those kind of challenges that, it takes time to observe, it takes time to reflect, it takes time to understand, and we all go through it. And the knowledge inside is waiting for you to have patience with yourselves. It's waiting for you to start to have self-honesty, that sometimes the things that we enjoy are not the most positive for us. What is it that's bringing you, what brings you true happiness, what brings you true ability for you to be you? What is it that is you? You hearing what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there yesterday, and this lady's telling me, oh no, we change. Oh no, we change. Everything that you make a choice and comes from your knowledge inside. If you make a choice to go one way, it's because you choose that's the positive route to go. I'm choosing to go this way. That's positive to me. It might be a negative, but when you learn it is a negative, you're going to hit the end of that road and you're going to turn back around. And a lot of people are held at that peg point. They're held back from their ability inside. They're held back from their ability to move forward. They're held back from the person that they want to become by their own challenges. So when do we start to hit those kind of peg points to where we get through our challenges, where we see those and we go back to the routes that's a part of your journey, that is a part of your being and a part of your purpose, and it's inside of that, and it's like, you might have gone on a longer journey to get back to that peg point, where it's worth it. And I'm going to go ahead and take this call here. I know you were calling in yesterday. Blessings.
Hello, hi.
How are you doing?
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to be happy, but it is so hard.
I can understand that. This year...
I mean, those books and those videos about be happy, be happy, be happy.
See, here's the thing.
After some time, you get sick of it, you know.
Well, that's the thing is that there's a real story that goes on out there, and there's a fake story that goes on out there. You
I
understand?
mean,
You understand what I'm saying?
my point is, if someone is happy, he doesn't need to say it to himself in front of a mirror. Even he doesn't have to think about it.
See, here's the thing. I had people coming to me asking me for the mentality that I was using. See, I'm not just here for myself. I'm
But
here.
there is something like reality, these real facts in life, you know. You can say be happy, but
I'm not talking
there is
about
this-
just being happy. I'm talking about being positive and seeing all the negative and the positive things and turning them positive. I'm not talking
but
about.
society is imposing you like buy this, buy that, and
Trust me.
be that.
Check
and
this out.
out like
I
that,
have
and
I have a Facebook group with about 1,080 members on it.
okay.
And my group has stuff about all of that, about motivation, meditation, and inspiration.
But there is two kinds. The
I
one
get you.
in which you
Let
have
me
something.
finish what I was saying. So I get on there. So I get on there, and I'm the editor, right? So when people try to throw stuff on there, they throw stuff on there that is trying to sometimes sell their book or their something. I'm not
Okay.
trying to sell anything. I want to help people out. I want other people to be able to, for what I've gone through, what I have physically gone through. Okay.
What have you gone through? Can you share your story with us so we can understand a little about you?
Sure, not a problem. I really enjoy conversation. So,
Did you go through a lot of hardships? You know.
oh yeah, let me go ahead and
have
share
you
my
gone on
story.
A
So
surgery or something or some disease?
let's go ahead and start with that story. You ready?
Well, we are ready.
Okay. So
This is a friend of mine. If he asks to go to call in, allow him.
okay, so
Ozzy.
so I first want to start off with the things that I have gone through have got me to help other people out. Now let's start with where they are. Now,
But can you give some examples? You know, you're talking like
Sure.
you know.
okay,
In a
so
superficial way,
8 years
you know.
ago, I got married to a woman that I was with for 8 years. Okay?
Okay.
And when I was with this woman, she was all about herself. Everything that I did was about her. It was for her. It was never
Okay.
for me. Okay? And at the age of 25, I got married. Now, from
Okay.
25 till 35, which we're at now,
Yeah.
that's 10 years.
What happened?
Here we go. So, when I first got married, I moved from where I live now back to California, where I grew up. I started
That sounds great.
telesales.
I mean, California is the richest state of USA.
I actually absolutely enjoy it where I am now. I live in the Sedona Vortex. Okay, I live in an area where a lot of people that are close to the same kind of vibration of energy that I'm in are. So,
Which state is that? Which state? Like Texas or something?
Arizona.
Arizona, okay.
But I live in a very special place of Arizona called Prescott.
Okay.
So when I was there, I invested a lot of time and energy into working first 3.5 years of telesales, 2.5 years of car sales, 5 years of driving people.
Okay.
So this is over 100,000 people in 7 years time frame.
And you had all conversations with those guys, so you have a lot of understanding
I do.
about human
Yes.
psychology.
So in the beginning at 27, I started meditation.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, when I was working for Chrysler, I wanted to turn the feature on that's blush. You know, how do we blush? How, you know, when somebody comes by you and they blush, how do they blush? And so I
You
started.
mean blush by getting a red face or something?
Yeah, like by actually when you see somebody glow, when you see somebody
No,
glow.
I think that there is two kinds in which someone can blush. I think one is shame and one is enjoying humor.
Enjoy. I wanted people to enjoy me. I wanted to be when I was working and I was working for Chrysler and I was selling cars. I wanted to have that kind of energy flowing. So I was like out of searching after I started learning meditation. I was like, okay, how do people blush? How does that, how does that trait, if I could turn on that trait for my customers, do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but
I was out.
The point with sales is like most of the time the people coming to buy a car have already made their decision. It's about how much
Hear what I'm saying. So
how
when
much
you're
profit you can withdraw for your own
so
success. I mean,
hold on, let me
I
get
think
there.
you got some bonuses. Am I right? You got some bonuses if you sell.
I was first and second place every single month while I was driving 50, 60 hours a week on top of that for Uber.
And you get a bonus for selling much.
Yeah, so
more.
What I'm trying to say is that what I was doing was I was seeking out traits within ourself that are shut off normally. And so
Okay.
as I was doing that, I came across a day on my birthday where I had a candle and I was lit up more than the candle. And I have that picture on my Facebook page in there, in my pictures, where I actually had figured out how to turn that trait on. And so what I'm saying is that as I continued, I cared about people more than I cared about myself. Okay, I cut my hair a certain way to make her happy. I did certain things to make somebody else happy. And you can ask yourself, is a lot of people in that place? And a lot of people are. They're doing things for other people instead of themselves.
I read something about that. Like it was saying like this: if you don't have a plan for your own, then probably you will fit in someone else's plan.
And so at a certain point, I was fitting in that plan for somebody else. When I went to the gym for myself, don't go to the gym. When I got a diet, I got shakes going. My wife poured them down the drain. When
protein shakes, like for muscle building.
Yeah, when I was, doing a certain thing, even when I first started doing videos, I was told, I don't want you to do videos because I don't want my family to hear you're doing videos. So every single thing that I wanted to do for myself, to be just me, not selfishly, but just to uplift me, to believe in who I am, was shot down.
Yeah, but that's because of the society. There is this kind of norms
and values in society. Okay. So here I am, and you fast forward. I'm driving full time, customers in my car, and I come across customers who are not having self-love. They're letting the society.
What is your job, if I may ask? You're talking like you're a chauffeur or something?
I drove for Uber for 5 years. I drove Uber customers for 5 years.
Clients, you mean?
Yeah.
It's more a service, yeah.
So as I was doing that, I started to use this because I was doing meditation for 6 years at this point, where I was writing things down. And then as I was writing them down, I was speaking with so many people that I could tell who really cared and didn't care about themselves in a matter of minutes. And so as I was going through that, my wife ended up going, she was working for Domino's delivering pizzas, and she got in a car accident with my vehicle and was trying to destroy me in the last few years of marriage. And so what happened was I was putting all of my care into other people, and I was avoiding the one that I needed to care about the most.
Okay.
So here I am, and fast forward, we had lost our apartment. Because our income was cut, and we had like about a $2,100 apartment, and we had to board all of our stuff up and put it into a storage because we had about $5,000 a month in bills. And
That's a lot, man.
so here we are in a extended stay America, spending 3 months inside of extended stay America, and I'm working. I'm driving full time. I'm out there, and then we got her into a culinary school where she started to go do culinary. Now I was out there driving, and I would come back and drop her off, and at times I would send her to school with an Uber because it was costing me as much to go pick her up as it was for me to pay for the Uber. You getting what I'm saying? So
Oh, you can save that time for yourself, you mean?
yeah, to work. So as I was going through that, we got into a situation where we moved into a roommate situation for a little bit less expensive place to be able to start to get ourselves above. Well, she became even more selfish. And so when she got an internship to Europe to try to better our lives, she went to Europe and she said, you can come, but because the car accident that she got in that destroyed her car,
Again.
the car accident that she had gotten in that destroyed the car, they ended up paying her out for that. So she ended up getting $8,000, and she told me, if you don't come to Europe, I'm
The
going
insurance
to.
company, you mean?
Yep. If you don't come to Europe to visit me, I'm going to divorce you. So here I am doing everything I can. I end up going to Europe, and when I go to Europe, she basically spends the time with me, and when I come back, she tells me I had a plan to never come back.
Which country did you go?
I've been to Paris. I've been to Porto, Portugal. I've been to Spain, Madrid, and I've been to London. I spent 40 days in Europe,
And you didn't like it, or...
I loved it.
So what's the problem, man?
See, the thing was that if I didn't come back to the U.S., okay, because we were immigrants, then she would lose her ability to possibly have a better life for the both of us. So I came back. I came back to work, and when I came back to work, she had already destroyed everything that we had. I had no chance to get an apartment. I had no chance to get anything. And so I'm sitting here in a place trying to get this thing going, and that person that we were living with, she found somebody else for me to live with. So I went and
In
lived...
Europe? In Europe?
No, in San Diego. So I went there. As I was there, the dealership had actually stolen some money from all of us employees. So there was a lawsuit that was filed against the dealership that I had worked for. And so when I was there in that place, sleeping in that living room of that place that I had stayed, paying $500 a month to stay there, she started to actually get into things that were not a part of our relationship. And I ended up finding out that I was going to buy a van to be able to drive with, because at a point, the second vehicle, the Prius we had, broke down. Okay, I was driving a customer from San Diego to LA, and my second vehicle broke down, so I was renting a car at that point. And this is where the story begins, to the reason why I do videos, the reason why I want to help other people out, was from that point that I had gotten that, I went out and got a van to find out that the next month I was going to be sleeping in my van.
Okay.
So I found myself sleeping in 24-hour fitness parking lot and meditating and delivering food with 2 dogs in a van with me. Well, I actually started to really enjoy it. But the reason why was because I was washing my clothes, I was delivering food, I was breaking barriers inside. And that was actually one of the most healing things that ever happened to me. See, a lot of
You were
people
living in a van. Let me be clear. You were living in a van.
I was
So
taking
how did you manage like food, kitchen, and
bingo.
bathroom things?
So I was going around delivering food all day long with 2 dogs in the car with me with my van. I was meditating and taking showers at the 24-hour fitness. I was
Okay.
washing my clothes inside the bathroom and using the shorts dryer to wash the clothes. I had hand washed clothes on every single day that I washed by hand. Not only did I do that, I had all the supplements possible inside of the car that all I needed to do was get one meal a day, which of 20 to 30 orders a day, at least one person didn't pick up their food.
Okay.
So I was in a place where I was really in a place of mentality where I wanted to help out other people. I broke a 5 hours without even walking out of the sauna because it wasn't about what was going on outside. It was what about that storm that was going on inside.
It was some kind of struggle or a battle or
Yes. So
overcoming obstacles or something. Or,
exactly. And that's when I went from loving somebody more than I loved myself to loving myself, was when I found observation, when I found time to have patience on myself, to have self-growth.
But is it true that in order to find your real self, you have to hit rock bottom? You really have to. be
You do.
broke?
You do. You have to hit rock
Because
bottom.
it makes you think, it makes you appreciate things, and it makes you wonder. It makes you, I mean, things starts to not to be obvious after that point.
See, here's the thing. Society has taught, well, this is the lessons that I've learned from this. And there's more to this story, you know. There's a
You
lot
have to
more.
write it, man.
So that's why I was saying, when I realized the skills that it took, and I was listening to motivational videos as I was delivering food.
What kind of, man? I also sometimes watch motivational videos like Tony Robbins.
Oh, the best one out there have got to
I
be.
find him the best one.
The best ones
Tony
out there are Les Brown and Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas, I never heard. I mean, if I compare those, I think Tony Robbins is the best, man.
Let me explain to you this.
Have you ever watched his videos?
I have. But you
That
got
guy
to
is
see
really
that
good, man.
Eric Thomas is the #1 motivational speaker in the world right now. He
How
has.
come Anthony Robbins is more famous? I
Tony
didn't hear
Robbins is famous, but if you go into the world of YouTube, into the world where those guys, the spectrum that those people live in,
Oh, Tony Robbins is more professional. You have to buy a very, very expensive ticket for his seminars.
no. The highest paid motivational speaker as of right now is Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas. I will Google it, man.
Okay.
Eric Thomas. Thomas.
The tops out there are, the world's changing in this motivational world, and I study it myself because I've been doing this for nearly 2 years.
He's an American or Eric Thomas? Eric Thomas. I have to remember it.
Yeah, so the rock bottom isn't truly rock bottom until the things that are not you die. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but after all, you get some value out of it, you know? I mean, most people take all things for granted, you know, like clean water, food, and it is not.
Exactly. No, I understand.
It is
I
really
was in
not,
Spain.
because
I was in Madrid. I understand that the water's cleaner there, like 90% clean. I drank out of the water fountains in Spain. I understand. I've been to those places. Thank goodness I got to travel the bit I did. And
yeah.
but the travel that's the most important is this one. it's this one.
You're traveling, your journey inside, like you're the. Yeah, that's true.
And so,
I mean, 99% of people really don't understand themselves.
and that was when I decided that what I had gone through, because ultimately it ended up out here with my family coming around me and saying, your wife abandoned you. I had come to the realization, it took me coming to the realization.
You get humiliated by her, or it was like a loss or something.
Well, I didn't understand how somebody could abandon you.
Okay.
And so from that moment forward, because I'd broken barriers that other people call impossible, I went 5 hours before we were even exiting a sauna. I was in there so long because I got into meditation, and then a friend came in, sat down with me. I did meditation with him. He was in there for almost a good 2 hours, and then he walked out. I went back into meditation. I was in and out, and then I walk out and I look up and it's 5 hours later. I'm like, wow, okay, really facing off against the things inside. Then my friends start coming in, and I'm just off and on in the sauna pretty much the whole day. So I get outside, I sit in the car, and almost every single nerve on my entire body seizes, and it's hard for me to breathe. Now at this moment, I'm sitting inside of the car, and I'm asking myself, hey, do you want to live? Because, you know, at that point, if I wanted to not be here, I don't think any ambulance is going to keep me alive. Do you get what I'm saying? And so...
You mean you had deep burns or something from the sauna?
I had so much dehydration that it was either choose to live or die.
Okay.
And so I realized that day that I was no longer afraid to die, to be myself.
Yeah, that's about fear, you know. It doesn't help. If it happens, it will happen, you know.
Exactly. That what you just said.
I'm in that mindset now because I also watch some videos about motivational things, and so Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Les Brown. Which one do you also have?
That's exactly the types of people that I listen to too. But listen what I'm saying. So on that day, I realized that
Zig Ziglar on YouTube.
Yeah, he's good too. The thing is that on that day, I realized that what we truly know about ourselves overcomes fear. That emotions, pains...
Yeah, that's the whole point, because 99% of the people are just adjusting to society norms, you know?
It's okay, because the story gets even better. So, after overcoming that, I realized that I was no longer afraid to die to do the things that I loved. That I loved myself enough that I was going to continue no matter what challenges came my way. So I came out here.
I'm in that process, and I find it very difficult to love yourself. It's mostly that you are blaming yourself, like, you know, you didn't do this not good and did and that. Like, it's always self-blaming.
So this is where the story starts.
To reach that point, if you
this
say
is the
self-love,
part.
you know, it should be. Self-love should be unconditionally.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You see this shirt that I have on right now? We're getting there. Just check.
I'm not able to do it.
Here we go. Okay. I'm going to get ready to help you overcome your hurdle, okay? just hear me out. just hear me out, okay? You ready for this?
It's very difficult because...
Okay. So I come out here...
Because people look down on you if you have no money,
understand.
Or if you are poor, or if you don't conform to their norms or to their expectations.
I
you get
understand.
This tag on yourself like you're a loser, you are broke,
I understand.
Piece of shit.
Hear me out for a second. We got to keep it G-rated because this is actually on multiple platforms, okay? So let me go ahead and take this to where I'm in Arizona. Here I am in Arizona. I'm sitting down, I'm doing meditation. Okay? And I sit down, you know, I had just come, my whole family was like, you stay with us. I'm like, okay, I'll stay with you guys. So I'm here in Arizona, and I'm doing meditation, and I start doing videos online just to show people that meditation that I do, and to just get out there a little bit and to express myself. And then all of a sudden I come across somebody who had stage 4 metastasized breast cancer.
So that's heavy, man.
Okay, so at this point, I go from just struggling on my own to wanting to help other people out. So I go to the lake and I sit down with this person, and at this point, my energy is super strong. My ability to do meditation, my ability to read energy, that's why I say energy readings, is on point.
Okay.
I can get in there, I can read a person's energy, I can understand that a lot of the things going on inside have to deal with the understanding of the heart inside of yourself, that a lot of the challenges that you have are in your heart, okay? So that's green energy itself. And so I'm sitting there, and I start to see this person has the world crushing them from the outside in. I mean, we're talking like this.
Collapsing.
Exactly. So they start explaining their story to me. Okay?
So?
And so I'm like, you got to overcome that the same way I did. By believing in yourself inside of who you are. Started speaking stuff out, started putting things down. And they were being crushed by pain, which is a part of being a teacher.
Like you physically or mentally? You mean it's both?
They were being physically crushed by their mental pain.
I mean, also mentally, you know you are going to die, and there is no cure for it, and
now
this perspective
see, here's the thing, though. The thing that's amazing is that as I was sitting down and I was realizing that I was helping other people out in their dark tunnels and to overcome their things, I was growing as a teacher. I was growing with patience. The time that I had taken to be patient with myself had come to the time that I needed to help other people too.
Okay.
Thus
also
being the reason why I came to the point where I was like, I'm going to help other people. And so when I started to hear this person's story, they explained to me that they had had their children taken away from them because they had gotten with somebody who was supposed to be really Christian and not into drugs, who had brought them from San Diego, is an interesting city I grew up in, to Arizona, where I live now, and they had tricked them and they were doing drugs. Now the kids came with them, and so what happened was the kids were taken by the parents. Now the parents loved the daughter, right? But the pain inside of herself was said, that's a good thing that they took, but the thing was, that's not really how she felt inside of herself. The way she felt inside of herself was, I don't believe in myself. The doctors say these are good things, but yet I'm being destroyed.
So what happened after all?
So I start working.
Died, or she cured this illness?
She passed this life with peace, with her last day, with her own choice, with her ability to learn from meditation. That my shoulder lit up the day she died. Okay?
You mean she passed away in peace instead of...
Yes. But not only that, she made it back to her family. She made peace with her family. She told me it was a day of passing. Now I continued to work with people. I came across more people until I became blessed to have the people that are meant to open up my heart again. Okay?
Okay.
So I locked away my emotions. I locked away my ability to care about another person.
But is that a good thing? I don't agree with that. You know.
I understand until a person made me laugh again. until a person made me laugh again, until a person actually made.
Oh, you mean you had some work to do in yourself, inside yourself, before you can reach out to other people.
And that's what this year has been about, understanding.
You had some work inside you to do, you know, so fixing things, and then you can reach to other people and give something.
And so
back.
this process is not just about other people, my friends. It's about me helping other people and helping myself in the process of helping other people. Are you getting what I'm saying?
I mean, that's not separate. You know, those things are interrelated in the sense of you get a good feeling if you help someone else and you get something a lot back or something.
And that is where the law of riches has come in. When you help other people, you receive in return. And that is the reason why
I think you have to give first, you know, and after you receive. You know, it's not the other way around, like taking, and then giving something back.
I want to give from the experiences that I've gone through.
You have to give more than you receive. So
that's it. I enjoy it. I get on the computer every single day. I get out there. If I can yet but do these 3 things, which kept me alive in that time when I was sleeping in my van. If I can be these 3 things to you, motivation, meditation, and inspiration.
Okay.
Then that, to me, is worth it.
But you don't have to put it like a bad experience, you know. After all, it was a wake-up call for you,
and now you see what I'm saying.
You get some insights which you never will get from a psychologist or someone else. I mean,
and that
after
is why I get on the computer every day. Right now, what you just said is the reason why I get on there and I talk. Because at a certain point, I sat and did 7 energy readings in a row with perfect accuracy.
I think you have to persevere, and it will catch up sometime, I guess. And don't get disappointed, man.
And
just keep going, man. Just keep going, man.
That's what it is. And I remember you were in there yesterday. Man. We were talking. And
even
stuff.
There is one keyword, you know. You have to push through.
And
you have to push through. Just deliver the message. Deliver the
and that is where.
Service, man.
So that is where I started to realize what these things really were. Motivation is focus. When you're so focused on the things that you want to achieve and to positively and start
I have some comments on that word motivation, because it's used so many times like it's meaning nothing these times.
So like, what motivation really is what you see as focus, not what I see. When you see me focusing on that point, like how you said, man, you should really be doing this stuff. I really see what it is. That
I think it's more believing, you know, believing in something and pursuing after it.
That is focusing. That the root of that.
Yeah, but motivating, you know, if you motivate an idiot, then you have a motivated idiot.
I understand that a lot of people look at it that way, but no matter what profession somebody picks or what somebody chooses to do in their day, they are either becoming that to other people or not.
My point is, you cannot motivate someone who is not believing in the story, or because he or she has to feel it and believe it.
I get it, but hear what I'm saying. I'm not talking from mine or your opinion. I'm talking from universe's opinion.
Okay, I mean.
So what I'm saying is,
just waiting for someone else to motivate him, you know. That's not working.
That's
not working.
I get it. It's see, the way I talk about this is from a universal perspective. I'm talking about if you watch a train derail, that's still a perfectly good energy, though that was a negative.
I understand. You mean something like a momentum? You like a flow or things, or a flow or energy of energy, you know, like a mindset, or
There we go. Okay, so
or,
now
or
you're seeing it because
extending yourself in nature or something like that, or physics. I don't. It's metaphysics, but
exactly that is motivation. It's not what I see.
a higher purpose to follow or something instead of this materialism.
You got it. And so in our mind, we have positive and negatives. If I turn left here, I might go all the way down to the end of the corner and find a dead end and have to turn all the way back around.
I find that hard, you know, this distinction between positive and negative. I cannot make that very clear.
Okay, now this is where self-study comes in.
Mostly the bad experiences give me a lesson, you know, a worthy lesson, and the good feelings never give a wake-up call.
And this is because a lot of people have not spent the time on themselves. If you spend the time sitting down with even a pen or paper or even a phone or...
But everyone is seeking for a comfort zone, and most people do this by this, how do you say that, theory of positivity, you know, like be around
a lot of people look at this positivity
that's
thing.
That's not a challenge, man. That's not extending yourself.
A lot of people look at this positivity thing in such a way that it's just a word. I'm talking about inside of yourself finding the best routes, the best ways to bring yourself closer to being you.
Oh, I get your point. You mean the best version of yourself in a bad situation, in a challenging situation, or in a tough situation, to put your most best self version of yourself into the game.
Yes. I'm talking about finding the way that, oh, this happened.
But I think that the proper word for that is more strongness or
but you see, here's the thing. When somebody's focused, then
strongness.
When you see they're focused, one of the reflections of being focused is strength. When they are truly focused, when they're not driven by other people in the universe.
I tried that. It's very difficult, but this focus.
Okay, so here's how you start.
I want to learn. I really want to learn about this focusing.
Okay, very good.
Things.
Ready to learn about it?
But it is very difficult because we get distracted all the time, man. Or commercials, TV, and the society.
Those are things that we got to shut off to turn on focus.
Yeah, but it's because the system works that way. You know, you have to pay your bills, and you are working, but you don't know why you work.
The first thing
that
has to be to
working just to pay the bills. You know, just to pay the fucking bills. That's
hold on, you got to G-rated. But listen to what I'm saying. The first thing that has to be done for one to focus is they have to stop saying that the society is controlling it. You are always going to be you no matter how many challenges you face off against. It's until you embrace the challenges by being yourself.
I mean, I always had the perception to be homeless will be the end of the world, like something, you know, this perception. But I met some homeless people, and they have a different story. They say it's not the end of the world. They experience a lot. And even some homeless people get a home from the government, and they go back to the streets.
So here's the thing that we can learn from this story. It's that it's not the society that crushes you. It's your mind. Because you can
allow it, but the impulse comes from the society.
No, it comes from not focusing.
It imposes you on what is status, what is success, what is.
No, this is a mere fact of focusing into those things. This is a mere fact of focusing into those things.
But that's programmed, man. There's a big
you
program
can
that.
Program your mind. You can.
Yeah, I understand, but most people don't have that insight.
Very good.
And
that's why I get out there every single day and I talk about focus. Okay?
You know?
The reason why I talk about focus on a daily basis.
I myself came by accident on those videos, motivational videos, because I
Hear,
didn't feel any luck, you know?
hear what I'm saying.
I don't give a shit about
Come on, we got to keep
money
it G
and-
rated.
Yeah.
Okay, hear what I'm saying. Okay, ready? You ready? You're asking about a lot about focus, but let me go ahead and start breaking it down. Okay?
It's a big subject.
Okay. We find that people who write their entire everything down on their mind, everything, everything,
Yeah, good.
you know, the positives, the negatives. See, the mentality to elevate to a place of focus, it goes like this: fight, flight, slavery, emotion, time, organization, focus, and knowledge.
Yeah, but you have to practice it also, you know.
By writing
And-
things down,
And
by
most of the
shutting
time,
off
if,
those
with
things.
the first drawback, you let it go, and that's the challenge, man. Pushing through.
See, that's why I talk about
Pushing
writing
through.
stuff
when,
down.
when it's painful,
every day.
when it's hurting, pushing through, and that's
That's
not
why
easy.
we got to
That's
study.
not easy.
And I have a way to overcome this. When you write things down, you revisit it. When you revisit it, you have the ability to revisit it in such a way that if you actually put these things down in front of yourself.
Okay, you mean some kind of reflection. It's like at the end of the week or at the end of
The day.
Of the month. A day, okay, that's much.
So,
That's a lot.
so first we master the morning, then we master the evening, and then we master the center. But first, to get to the place of focus, you have to be willing to pick up the things that you want to program your mind with. So you decide, I'm going to be positive inside.
Are you into this NLP theory? I'm very interested, and I didn't read anything, but I want to buy some books about it. This NLP.
I haven't
ever heard about it.
I haven't heard about that, but let me.
Neuro-linguistic programming about your mind to reprogram it, and then.
Let me go ahead and continue to explain this so that you'll be able to see how you can work on it, because you were asking a question and I want to answer that question for you.
Okay.
So it doesn't start on day one. So you pick up the paper and these things are great, these things aren't great. These things are great, these things aren't great. Now,
okay, like a balance.
I was working with this girl, and she wrote down, I want to get a shirt from, this place. She didn't know how. She's going to work too many hours, stuff like that. And she wrote down the color of the shirt she wanted was even exactly accurate to the page. And I told her, I showed her that day, I said, what you put down in front of yourself, you can achieve. Okay?
Okay.
So what I'm telling you is the same thing that Andrew Carnegie said. What the mind can see, you can achieve. So if you want to focus to that level, where that vibration reaches that place, then pick up a pen and paper or a computer or a phone or something and write down your mind every day.
Carnegie, is that the guy from Think and Grow Rich?
That's the guy who created
Napoleon
steel.
Hill.
He created
Napoleon
steel.
Hill.
He's the person who created steel. He was one of the most.
Also know Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill.
I've been to Paris and I was on the Eiffel Tower and I saw that whole entire area over there. Let me continue here though. So when you start, it won't be easy. If you continue, you will study, and not only that, the experiences, the people around you, the abilities, those pieces that you are not understanding come together. And so as you're sitting
mean
there,
something like, if I can summarize, something like, if you change, everybody around you will change.
let me go ahead and explain to another thing. You are always going to be you until the day you leave the planet. You don't change.
In what way? In what way? In atomic way, I agree, but you can change. Mentally, you can change.
Let me go ahead and explain. Every positive and negative that you do is still you. You can.
Yeah, but that's an experience.
It doesn't matter how many experiences you have, they come from the process of focusing to the point where the knowledge becomes accessible.
Okay, it will be saved in your subconsciousness, you mean?
Yes.
Even you forget it, you get it saved somewhere else.
So it's still you. So really nothing changes. Only the things around us change. You are always you. So you are still with your same breath. You will still have your mind. You will still have your challenges. What's changed is what's positive and negative within the universe. That's why I said when we talk from a universal.
So we can conclude like flying away from yourself by moving from city to city to city will not help because you are throwing yourself alone.
All you're doing is taking a field trip. You're still the student.
Then you come in another city and you have the same feelings.
Yep.
The same challenges and the same problems and
yes.
The same
what happens
feelings.
Is that the person who's willing to sit down and study themselves decompresses.
But that's challenging because that's distressing and that's because most people are not ready to be confronted with the reality of
and
themselves.
That is why I realized I'm like a knife. Okay? I had a customer in my car, and we were talking. He's like, man, you're so deep. You cut through like a knife. So I realized that I'm not that person.
Mean you are kind of rough and blunt in order to be honest or sincere and to get across your point. But that's not to hurt the other people, but more like being honest and sincere to give the other people some insight to develop.
Yes. On the sheer levels of meditation, where you're sitting down, you're sitting inside a sauna, and those fears, those pains, those emotions, they no longer exist in this place. What you face is that what really exists is focused knowledge and discipline. And so we're not talking about an external focus. We're talking about a focus beyond focus, one that's inside of you. We're talking about a knowledge beyond knowledge, what's going on inside of you. We're not talking about an external discipline. We're talking about becoming centered within yourself.
That's a journey. That's a deep journey you can only take by, I guess, by a deep meditation or
and that
an extreme experience, like.
And that is why I talk about motivation, meditation, and inspiration, because I want to help people. I've been doing meditation for nearly a decade, and I have done a lot of skills where communications were super important, to where I realized focusing and how to get there. And so when I'm asked questions about how do you focus, in the way in which you focus is you study you. You use those skills that you had in school. Those I guess they're called cognate, those aware skills, those things that you no longer let the universe crush you with.
Yeah, you have to withstand that by having a strong backbone. And even a lot of people around you are saying bad things and you are nothing, you can do nothing. You have to withstand that. And
when I came to Arizona.
And in that state of mind, you have to love yourself.
And that comes from knowledge.
Real big challenge, man. That's a big challenge.
And when you access that knowledge within yourself, emotions become reflections. When you go to that place, emotions become reflections. And that is the reason why I said it goes fight, flight, slavery, emotion, time, organization, focus, and knowledge. And the reason why I talk about focus and knowledge is for the people who are ready to elevate themselves to the place where they can be focused beyond focus, knowledge beyond knowledge, and discipline beyond discipline, to the point of reflection, of motivation, meditation, and inspiration.
Oh, you mean like how bad your situation is? Doesn't matter. You should like look inside yourself and not get irritated by someone else's responses.
you should feel yourself. I'm not saying you should. Let me go ahead and reword that. When you are you, emotions no longer affect you. This means pains, fears, pain. I've learned that pains can become teachers. Okay? I've learned that fears can be overcome. I've learned that
my
emotions.
experience, if you delay the pain, it hurts you and it comes back like a boomerang in a bigger way.
Yes, so you
The best
learn.
way is to confront it. The best way is to confront it and take it.
And that's
take
why
the pain,
it's a teacher.
Take the pain instantly, you know, at the moment, not
and that is
ignoring it, not pushing away it, not.
That is why it's a teacher. As I sat there and I watched somebody with stage 4 metastasized cancer learning to overcome their challenges, I realized that pain is a teacher. And
but
so
that's logically, you know.
I watched them have their whole entire chest cavity filled with water and learning how to breathe in a way in meditation that I taught them to be able to breathe through the nose and be sitting there completely calm inside of themselves.
Peace of mind.
So that's what I'm saying is that
accepting everything as it is and then letting go all anger and
see, we don't have to let it go to understand it. We have to understand it to free ourselves. When we understand it, we don't need to let it go. We need to learn how to have peace inside of ourselves, to understand where other people's thinkings were, where the knowledge in the universe is coming from.
Yeah, but that only comes with a lot of learning, a lot of reading, a lot of thinking, and maybe also writing.
There we go. And that is why
I have to admit, I don't do much writing, but I have this resolution to do it.
And that is why a lot of us need the message that I share. Right there. You hear how you said that? I see this reflection as motivation. That
you have to think really sharply and cut through your assumptions. Really, those are assumptions.
And this is not versus anybody else. This thing.
And those assumptions are imposed by your parents and also by society and also by.
And at the point,
by the schools.
People come to the conclusion, and ultimately they come to the conclusion of being yourself is to be selfless. And what society has taught us is that when people reach that page where they start to realize what I'm truly saying.
I wonder, you know, people get successful but are not happy anyway, you know.
When people start listening to my message, the place where they misunderstand is they think because society has taught them that being yourself is selfish, because society has taught that, it takes them stepping back for a moment and looking at what I'm truly saying to hear that I'm saying being selfless. Nothing more, nothing less than who you are. And that takes a lot of self-study to reach that page where you believe in yourself.
I think there is two kinds of being being selfish.
Selfishness does not hurt other people. Selfishness hurts other people.
Not by the expense of others, by just. It shouldn't be a zero-sum game, you know. You have to grow along with other people's growth.
And this, when a person truly reaches selflessness, the whole entire world says, what changed inside of you? But here's the thing. The people who truly, truly know you inside, okay? The people who truly know you inside, they didn't see a change at all. They see the beautiful person that you are. And when you reach that level, the people that aren't meant for you inside, the people that aren't...
How to find those kind of people, you know? A lot of people are just the same and just following the...
Here we go.
You say,
so when you find that part, you let the people that aren't meant for you move out of the way on their own. Because when you truly are selfless and you are you, what happens is those people have the ability to move out of the way. But you have to allow the process of that to happen for you to be the person that you are inside. That is true universal wealth. When those people...
Okay, but that's a process. I don't think it's easy to get in just, I don't know, 1 month or something. It's an ongoing process.
And that
till you're dead.
Is why this will be an ongoing process until my death. You hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, you can never say, I will be perfectly happy, or I will be perfectly satisfied, or I will be...
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, at a certain point, the most difficult trait shows up. And the most difficult trait is that self-honesty. I'm not talking about...
I think personal growth is controlling your emotions. You know,
self-honesty is the hardest trait on the face of the planet to have.
Yeah, that's true. The easy way is to blaming others. You know, that's... We all do. I think you do the same too sometimes, blaming others. But after all, we came on the world alone, and we will go pass alone, you know?
Well,
there is no use in a victim role.
I've realized that there's a difference between being loved and loving. You can have people love you.
Yeah, but I think my point is everything happens with a reason, and
I'm not saying that the Matrix doesn't exist. I'm not saying...
You don't have to frame it like bad, or you don't have to frame it like a bad experience.
See, but that puts a person's mentality on a place of good or bad. We're talking about getting beyond the emotion. We're talking about the place of focus and knowledge. We're talking about a mentality where you're truly focused into that ability inside of yourself, where you're accessing the knowledge inside of yourself.
You mean something like training your emotions, or taming your emotions, or
elevating past your emotions, finding the knowledge beyond the emotion.
You mean like a higher level of understanding of yourself, why these emotions occur and for what reason? You know, these emotions are evolved for a reason. From an evolutionary perspective, they are signaling pathways for you to learn to survive.
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly. This is why a lot of people that are like yogis and stuff get out there and we start having conversation like yesterday or something, and a lot of people
I now understand your point. You have to have a helicopter viewpoint and see, why am I feeling this in this situation? Or, you know, is there any reason, and what will you get out of the situation when you feel that way? You know, like getting upset from someone else's opinion. You know, that's a big pitfall most people fall into.
Exactly.
Like, what is the other guy thinking of me? What is she thinking of me? You know, is he liking me? And I think that's the number one reason why people get depressed and taking antidepressant. You know, so many focusing on the opinions of other people.
So that is why I do what I do. That is exactly why I do what I do, and I find peace inside, and I want to share that with other people.
Okay, I understand you, man. I understand you. It's a very noble goal of yours, and you know, most people don't understand this, and they take it very lightly and very fuzzy. You know, they think it's not getting through them. They don't understand it.
And it's okay. That's why I work at it daily. I work at this daily because I want you to be able to hit a place where you're able to focus, where you're able to bypass and the emotions no longer hold you back, where you decompress them, where it becomes quite liberating for you to be yourself.
But how come people are rich, people are very comfortable, and people have everything, and still they are depressed, still they commit suicide?
Yes, because
they make
they
fun
are
of
not
others. You know,
universally rich. Okay.
I think it's not a...
No, hear what I'm saying. They're not universally rich.
Yeah, but it's about society, man. It's
this is going back. Model, this is going back to a programming stage. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the capitalistic model, you know.
If I took everything away from you and I put you on a beach with the people that bring the peace to you and the things that you truly enjoy, and there was no such thing as money, you would be considered the richest person on the face of the planet.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. But
so they're not universally rich. And because they're not universally rich, because they don't have that universal richness inside of themselves, they're not truly rich, even though they have this.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I refuse to. My problem is.
And here we go. You're fighting yourself.
I refuse.
You're fighting
to sell
yourself.
My spirit. You know.
This is about losing your spirit. It's about believing in yourself and your own energy inside of you.
Look around, man. Most
Hear that word that you were saying. You're resisting yourself. You recognize.
You don't agree with me.
You're resisting you.
Are selling out. Most people are selling out their spirit for a lousy job and just paying bills.
And this?
That's not happiness.
Let me tell you, the person who opened up my heart again, I'm looking as she's not getting the most paid job, but she's getting ready to go and be happy in a position that she's doing for herself. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm just telling you, it's worth it to actually be against the grain itself in a way in which you're not allowing what society affects you for you to believe in yourself.
My friend, it's just you have to put a little more extra energy into to find the right people at the right place. That's my point.
And that energy comes when
you
are
going for the granted way, in the way like
yes.
You know,
I agree with you.
Everything.
A lot of people have learned that what is wealth is money.
Yeah,
what real wealth is sitting next to a lake, holding somebody's hand who you absolutely can be happy with, no matter if you're sleeping under a bridge, or if you have an apartment or a home, or you have $1 million next to you. It's not the $1 million that matters. That's real wealth.
I look around, you know, what are those rich people doing with the money? You know, after some level, they are just doing stupid things, really stupid things.
I'm telling you that if you take a person with an old mind and you put him in a new car, this was another motivational speaker, that if you put him in a new car, and I don't know his exact name, he's a preacher. If you put him in a new car, you're going to still have the same old guy. It takes a certain type of mentality to reach a place where you put him in a new place and they are with a new car, because it takes a different way of looking at your life. And it's the resisting of that holds one back from seeing the beauty that they have inside.
But you can only get to that point by just resisting this urge to follow the crowd, you know?
You don't have to fight it to be you. See, a lot of people fight themselves to be who they are on the inside. And
I think most people even don't know who they are themselves, because they are just adjusting and conforming to this new reality of Instagram and this and that, you know? All those filters, man. People are just fake, man.
I realize that there is a point where you start to believe in yourself, but you have to struggle with yourself. And in meditation, you go through stages. Okay, so in the first stage of meditation, you find the place which is like a fog. Okay, and It's really great. I wish I could show you the whole entire structure of what I got going on here right now.
I think meditation is some kind of training your mind to be.
And the reason why is because when you start meditation, you start dealing with the emotion, okay? And it's like a fog, the emotion.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
remember things that happen. You don't remember things that you're going through. You start to have pains, you start to have fears. And I express this to be like a tunnel. If I put you in a dark tunnel, at the beginning of the tunnel, you're going to feel darkness is all around you. You might feel quite small in that tunnel.
Okay.
Now, just imagine you have 5 miles that you have to walk, and they tell you, if you want freedom, you have to walk to the end of this tunnel. Now, they drop you off. These military get on this train, and they take off and leave you in the middle of the tunnel.
Okay.
What are you going to feel? You're going to feel
you feel the urge to finish it.
fear. You're going to feel flight. You're going to feel fight and flight is the first thing you're going to. How am I going to get out of here? What am I going to do? People left me here. What, all those things?
Yeah. Feeling insecure. Yeah.
That is the programming of the society. Now, when you start to get up, when you start to have things that are embracing you, that are bringing positivity towards you, when you start to see these things actually start to happen, that's you getting up and start walking. When you start to see the light at the end of that tunnel, that is you overcoming the pains, the fears, the emotions. That is you finding the place of focus at the end of the tunnel that you know you can get out of that tunnel.
Have you reached this mindset of ignoring people who are not worth it, like bullying you and
Yes, I face off against it all the time. I'll have somebody come.
to have a fight, and then bullying and
I have.
swearing on you.
I have. I've had those people come. I've had them come into the channel and try to derail me.
No, I mean in real life, like outside, in real life, looking for a fight, bullying, and then shouting on you, and then.
I have. I've had all of that.
And you just can be calm and walk through.
And it takes a part.
Pass away.
It takes a part of yourself to reach that piece of you. And it's not always going to happen in one day.
The point is, other people want to define you by their responses, by their opinions.
And it happens to me all the time. I've been online.
They are limiting you,
and it happens.
bullying you.
It happens all the time.
Humiliating you.
But let me tell you this, okay? When my wife was in Europe, one of the people that was listening to a video went to my wife and sent her a message.
Yeah.
A negative message, because the universe is such a great thing that it wraps all the way around to even people that you can't.
It's like communicating tubes. Yeah.
See, I feel peace inside because I know that the universe does the reckoning. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel peace inside because I know that the people that want to be with this, they see this focus as the most attractive trait on the face of the planet. They want to be with this.
Like it's digging for gold in a mine? You have to put a lot of energy to find the right good people.
Yes.
You cannot take it for granted and just wait for the right person at the right time. You have to put energy in looking for it, or I don't know how to say that. Like you have to have a sharp mindset.
And you gain that mindset by self-study.
Self-study and being calm and reading people. That's the most difficult, man.
And thus being the reason why I can do
like
energy readings. And now you see where it says energy readings? Okay? Now you see why it says energy readings?
Reading people. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? And what can I learn from him?
And I understand energy. I understand energy because I've spent so much time in meditation. Okay? I've spent so much time in meditation that I literally can get on there and do 7 readings in a row with.
Oh, you mean something like karma or some kind of magnetic field around some person, you know, like...
There's 7 energy fields that run inside of the human being.
I believe that. Did you ever experience that? That you have a feeling of someone behind you and you watch and there is.
Not only is there people behind us, sometimes the people in front of us have different types of energies.
You feel it, man.
And I can read that. Even through a screen, I could read that. With people in front of me, I could read that. When I was in a sauna, I could read that. And that's why I do energy readings. And at a certain point, I was charged $25 an energy reading and $100 for a meditation session.
Can you put some example of that energy reading with a person or a real person, and
okay,
so we can watch and see and learn?
So here you go. So you want to call in? You guys want to call in? You guys want to hear some energy readings?
I mean, in reality, like some client of yours, and then
sure.
Then you can show something.
Watch for yourselves. Go ahead and call in. I can already tell you use your heart a lot, okay? And a lot of the part of what's going on inside of yourself is that your energy in your heart is what affects you, is the understanding inside of the heart. All right, so here we go again. Here we go, number 2.
Number 2 for what? What's an energy reading? Like, what is that?
What is an energy reading? Okay. So, when you do meditation, you start building energy inside of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of people used to call these things aura readings.
Oh,
okay?
I know what you mean now.
But an aura reading is very easy, okay? To a yogi, aura reading is just, hey, your energy is green too. You getting what I'm saying? Your heart, the thing that drives you is your heart. But what is really going on inside? I mean, what part of yourself gives you the ability always to voice yourself, or that if inside of yourself you really like to use that part of your being?
Yeah.
And
are you reading me right now, or are you just talking? Oh, okay, never mind.
Do you see what I'm saying? By the accuracy of an energy reading. Okay? So, within a few words, I can actually read into the literal records of the universe and be able to read into the energy within the universe with the dead precise accuracy, because I spend the time for years and years and years sitting down and doing meditation.
Okay. So read my energy. What's my energy?
I already answered it for you in like 20 seconds.
What did you say?
So what I'm saying is that one of the biggest challenges that goes on inside is in the thought process, because you use a lot of your heart, but you use the upper part of your heart, not the lower part. You already understand. It's the voicing of the heart that opens up your ability to voice yourself.
Yeah, you got it there right. He accurate, y'all. I'm scared.
Okay? So that is where that last piece comes from, which is the challenge for you is your worry. And the reason why is because your depth perception, where your energy likes to hang out around in your voice and the upper part of your because the heart is like the equator. The bottom part and the upper part of the equator.
I have to go, man. I have to go to the toilet, man.
All right, brother. You have a blessed day, okay?
Okay, man. I will come back.
All right.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, brother. So, when we understand that, we understand which parts the energy are coming from. So it's simple
how do I use the lower half?
So here's how I learned about the lower half and the upper half of the heart. By having my heart broken, okay? Shattered to the point where I had a scar across my chest to learn about the heart. So that's where I started to realize that the lower part of the heart has to deal with the understanding. And the upper part of the heart has to deal with the relation. You already understand your heart. It's relating your heart to the reason why you always feel like you got to voice it.
Yeah.
And so the biggest challenges you have come from the mere fact that the worry below it makes you feel like you can't voice your heart.
The worry below makes it feel like I can't voice my heart?
Because the yellow energy, which is known as the solar plexus, is an energy that has a lot to deal with worry. which is the reason why the last part that was explained was that makes me worry. So the biggest challenges inside come from that worry that you have from things and the challenges you've gone through inside of yourself.
Okay.
So really looking at how to start to be able to stand your ground and to work on the lower energy fields, which is like the fight and flight stages inside the human organs and so forth, will actually help you to elevate the energy and start to get it moving inside.
Yeah. So does a lot of that have to do with like setting boundaries with people and like, you know what I mean, just standing 10 toes on what you say in your word? Like,
So
you want to please everybody, but you can't please everybody because then you'd be compromising how you really feel.
I would really suggest to go back and watch this whole entire video when it's done. So I just gotta say, you'll be like,
oh,
whoa.
You talked about it earlier? Oh.
Yes. Let me go ahead and explain give you the answer, though. When other people's opinions matter, our own no longer.
Okay.
So what would be the reverse of other people's opinions mattering?
Your opinion mattering?
Yeah. So when you're able to have your own opinion matter the most, then other people's opinions no longer matter.
Oh, that's facts. That's true.
So then the people that are not meant to be there no longer will be there because they don't know you.
Because they were just projecting their opinions onto you.
And that is what we call boundaries.
Got it. So do I have like a bad aura around me, or am I good?
See, there's no such thing as good or bad.
Oh.
You got to understand the energy inside of yourself. Good and bad is a level of elevation within the mind. And so when you bypass, and I'll show you the process in which elevating past good or bad works. You have fight, flight, slavery, emotion. Good and bad are emotions.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you have time and organization. Beyond that, you have focus and knowledge. Okay. So at a certain level, the mentality to bypass that, to become timely and to be timely and organized, you're no longer worried about what's good or bad at that point.
Oh, got it.
So once you're elevated to that place where good and bad no longer exists, you're starting to seek a place of focus and knowledge.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's realistically when we no longer allow emotions to affect us that they start saying, wow, that Buddhist is amazing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like those people that spend that time, and though I might be a Christian, it's only because I sat down and done the self-work and spent the hours inside the sauna and doing meditation by myself and helping other people out that I've gotten to that place where what truly exists is like a lot of people call people like me light workers.
Okay.
Because we no longer live by good or bad.
Okay.
So.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just like processing. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It cuts through the universe like a knife, and it takes a long time to no longer let the structure. But I can give you a perfect biblical example of this that will show you what I mean. In the beginning, God divided the darkness from the light, and then God saw that light was good. Yeah. Before he saw and made the choice that light was good, he saw the light and then made the choice it was good. Which means that the people that see that it's good are forgetting that the light came before it was good.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
So completely biblically, this yin and yang, positive and negative forces has been in creation before the structure destroyed it and turned it to good and bad. So on a biblical level, positive and negative forces, reflections, and everything that we are exists and provable throughout the whole entire structure itself. It's the person who frees themselves to see positive and negative forces that sees a universal angle instead of their own opinion.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so when you see it and you're trying to push people away, sometimes we're pushing people away in selfishness. You see, it's not about being selfish. It's about being yourself and nothing more and nothing less.
Yeah, because you got to stay true to you, and having those certain people around would be like you're compromising your true value and who you are at the core.
You got it. And that is why I do messages. Because
Okay.
I went through struggles enough to where I don't want people, I want that person's whose wife left them the way that mine did. I want that person whose husband abandoned them, who is getting out on their own for the first time. I want that person who's gone through the challenges that I had gone through to be able to hear the message that I share, and I want them to be uplifted. I want them to believe in themselves. I had a customer in the car. I've been doing Uber for a long time, and right now I'm getting my vehicle fixed, and he was in the back of the car and he was going through a challenge. He was having psychology problems and the job and stuff, and I remember the guy crying in the back of the car. And he said, if I didn't hear this message, it's like something put me in your car today, because if I didn't hear your message. But you see, I know that my mantra is the law of riches, which means that when I help other people, the universe gives me strength to be able to do things that are almost impossible or considered impossible.
But then why do people call that like karma then? Why do they call it like,
very good,
oh, I'm just spreading good karma? You know?
Karma is a cycle. Okay? Everything that you go through is a cycle.
Yeah.
Every lesson you learn comes from the first seed of the knowledge, and it circles around till you. That's why they show a picture of a star, and then they put a circle around it.
Yeah.
Is because until you face off against those karmic cycles, you can no longer make it through it.
Got it.
And so when you're trying to send out positive karma, it's on a joke level for some people, but the people who really understand what karma is, they're saying to you, I've made it through this cycle and I understand the knowledge inside of this cycle.
Oh.
I got the picture of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what real positive karma is. Until you face off against those things, and like for instance, I live here in Arizona and we have 5 acres and we have cows, horses, all of it, etc. And so, chickens, whatever. And when we had a cow that was like a feral cow, some of the areas they just have cows, they let them roam, and then they auction them off. These cows are not your regular cow, okay? Your regular cow, you put inside a thing, and you don't expect the cow is going to charge you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not a cowboy. I'm not, I'm from San Diego, and I'm out here, but I know meditation. I understand energy. I'm actually quite into that type of stuff. And this cow charged my brother and almost took off his leg. Just hit the side of it and went. And I was like, that's it. I'm not going to let that cow hurt my brother. So I stared down the barrel of that cow. I tackled that cow. And sometimes we have to tackle the things that we face in life. And that's the story of today, guys. I do hope that you have a blessed day, as always. Blessings, 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 and namaste.